welcome to your first day of your self-care challenge. Today will be a yin yoga flow, so feel free to grab any props you need, whether you need 2 blocks, a bolster, or if you don't have a bolster at home, you can always use a big pillow. Anything that will assist your practice today, feel free to grab those props, and we will start in a child's pose at the back of the mat. So once you've made your way to the back of the mat in your child's pose, make sure your bolster or pillow is close by, and then we'll drop the head down, release the shoulders down the back, and just take a few cleansing breaths here. Inhale to fill yourself up. Exhale to soften and let go. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale, feel the torso fall. Inhale to fill. Exhale, releasing and letting go. Beginning to walk your hands in towards the knees. Roll yourself up to seated. From here, we'll set up for our first pose. If you do need your bolster, we're going to bring it to the top of the mat. If you don't have a bolster, you can use a pillow or blocks, whatever you need. We'll come through tabletop, step your right foot forward and through. And starting to make your way up into a lunge position, hands will interlace on that front thigh. Try to pull your right hip back, press the left hip forward, drop the shoulders and close the eyes here. If you're a little bit wobbly with the eyes closed, you can keep them open. And if hands on the thigh is too intense, you could always drop your hands down to a bolster or blocks beside the foot. Wherever you're the most comfortable, we're going to hold here for another minute. And with every exhale, just giving into the pose, giving into gravity, and deepening your low lunge variation. Noticing where you're feeling the pose the most. It might be in that left thigh. It might be in the low back or the glutes. Or you may even be starting to feel this in the right hip, compressing right at the front. Just notice what's going on. There's no wrong way to feel. We're just becoming aware of what's happening within our body. No judgments. Just awareness. Seeing if you can soften another 10%. Maybe letting go of any unnecessary tension you're experiencing. Maybe the shoulders are hiked up towards the ears. Can you lower them down? Are you clenching the hands? Let go of those fingers if you are. And we'll take some cleansing breaths together. So exhale first. Inhale to fill up for 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Slowly begin to release your hands inside of that right foot. You're going to heel toe the right foot off to the edge of the mat and sink into a lizard lunge. So you might actually need to walk that left knee a little further back. Hands can come onto the floor, onto your bolster or blocks. Maybe if you have space, you drop down onto the forearms, whether it's on props or on the floor. Whichever variation of your lizard lunge you can make your way to comfortably, hold there. And again, over time, you might get further. So you might start off with the arms lengthened. And as we hold the pose, you may be able to deepen, whether you're softening the elbows or dropping all the way down. Just finding a depth where you feel a stretch. If you do feel any pain, please back out of the pose. Take a lesser variation. But if you are okay where you've chosen to stay, we're holding for another minute and a half. Maybe you can start to roll to the outer edge of the right foot. Just ensure that your right knee stays over the right ankle while you're rolling that foot out. And now noticing where the stretch changes compared to that low lunge, where are you now feeling it in that lizard lunge? So for most of us, we should be feeling it in that right outer hip, maybe again into the low back, but just analyzing how the pose changes as soon as you roll the foot out and sink a little further. And we'll start to come into our transitional breaths. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Slowly begin to lift your gaze. Lift up back onto the hands, moving slow. Press the sole of the foot back down if you roll to the outer edge. And now carefully, we're going to start to send the hips back slower than you want to go. And then come into a half split position. Hands are going to come on either side of that right leg. And you might need to slide the foot back through center, just so you're stable. Flex the right toes back, lift the chest, lift the chin. We're not going to stay here for too long, just holding a few more breaths, countering those lunges we were just in. And now slowly we're going to bend back into our front knee. Hands come inside of the foot, and you're just going to swing that right leg all the way around. And then sit back into a seated position, and we're going to sit up for child's pose with a pillow or a bolster. So you're going to take the pillow or bolster a long ways down the mat. Knees are going to come to either side of the bolster or pillow, and you're going to drape your torso over your prop and turn your head either to the side, or you could always take your forehead down as well. Hands can either be hugging onto the pillow or bolster or reaching them all the way out. Just find a comfortable position that works for you. And checking in side to side. Your right side may feel a little more warm. The left side may be tighter, more tense. Just taking a minute here to check in and becoming aware side to side how you're feeling. See if you can sink the hips a little further down. With every exhale, releasing your torso further into the prop beneath you, giving into gravity, really exaggerating the feeling of becoming heavy. Can you sink down, let go, and release? And then slowly begin to lift your gaze back up. Walk your hands back in and come up to a kneeling position. And we'll get ready for that sequence on the other side, so you can move your props out of the way or get them set up if you do need them. Hands will come down, knees together, coming in through tabletop. Step left foot forward and through this time. Wiggle the toes a little further forward. Ensure the left knee is over left ankle. And then once you feel stable, lift the hands up onto that left thigh, interlacing. Again, if this is too intense, you could always take hands to the floor or to your blocks if you have those at home. Once you've found that low lunge variation, I want you to try and pull left hip back. So see how the left hip is forward, pulling all the way back, and press the right hip forward. So moving in opposite directions. Shoulders drop down the back, lift the chest, lift the chin, nice tall spine. And again, if you want to add the option with the eyes closed, go ahead. If that does throw your balance off, keep the eyes open. And just breathing into any sensation you're feeling. So not worrying about what the pose looks like. It does not have to look the same as mine. Just noticing the sensations and flowing with those. Just seeing if you can release a few inches further. Maybe you drop that right hip further down, sink further into that left knee. Over time, noticing the space opening up in the hips. If this ever becomes too much for you, you can back out, prop it if you need to. Many options to work with here. You know your body the best, so don't push past your limits. Honor where you are today. If you need to take a break at any point, you are more than welcome. Child's pose or any other comfortable position for you. Let's start to come into our transitional breaths. Next inhale, we fill up for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. And slowly begin to blink the eyes open. Hands will release down to the mat, taking them inside of that left foot. Now start to heel toe the left foot off to the edge of the mat. Maybe wiggle your right knee a little further back. You can stay upright onto the hands. If you do have blocks or a bolster, you can lower down, whether that's on the elbows or you're just bringing the hands onto that prop. Do what you need to. And again, we'll move deeper over time. So inhales, feel like you're lifting and lengthening. On your exhale, seeing if you can soften and drop further into the pose. So just moving subtly with every breath. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release and fold if you can. Really using that breath to guide you. And then you have that last option here. If you want to roll to the edge of the left foot, go ahead. Just make sure the knee stays right over the ankle. There's no twisting in the knee joints. We have another minute here. Breathing into the left outer hip. Really working on that external rotation and your range of motion within your hip joint. And begin to notice side to side how this pose feels different. You may be able to go deeper on one side compared to the other, and that is completely normal. There's so many imbalances in the body, and it's not here to judge them. We're here to honor where you are today and work with your body, not against it. And starting to come into our transitional breaths. Next inhale, filling up for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beginning to lift your gaze. Press your hands back into the mat. Come back up. Left sole of the foot presses down, and then start to shift your hips back. Super slow, slower than you want to go. Left toes will flex up, hands to the mat, and then slide that left leg through center just to readjust and stay in alignment. Lift the chest, lift the chin. Coming into half split, just to stretch out that left hamstring and the calf. Take a few more breaths here. And then slowly start to bend back into your front knee. Left foot presses down. Take left hand inside the foot and then swing that left leg all the way around. Make your way back to a seated position, and we're going to have one more pose here coming into frog pose. So again, you can use the bolster again. It is similar to our child's pose, but the knees are going to be quite wide and the hips are actually in line with the knees. So moving into this slowly. Place the hands down as if you're coming into tabletop. You're going to open the knees nice and wide. They may even go off of the mat. That is completely fine. From here, drop down to the forearms. Now you can do this with or without your bolster, your choice. Hands resting, head resting, and you want to make sure the knees are in line with the glutes. So you're not leaning forward. You're not leaning back like we're in a child's pose. You want it in one straight line. And then once you arrive in that alignment, again, you can reach the hands forward here, close the eyes. Again, similar to a child's pose, but we're working more into the inner thighs instead of the back body. And see if you can bring those toes to touch behind you. If they don't, that's okay. And just noticing if you always favor going to one side with the head. So if you already took child's pose, let's say with your right ear on the mat, take your frog pose with the left ear on the mat, just so you're balancing out the neck. And again, with every inhale, feel like you're creating space. Every exhale, exaggerating the body being heavy. Can you drop down, sink further? And starting to breathe in fully. Exhale, release all the way to the bottom of the belly. Inhale, filling up to the back of the throat. Exhale, releasing the breath all the way down to the bottom of the belly. Last one, inhale. Exhale, release. Carefully begin to peel your head off the mat, chest off the mat, hands slide in, and then lift your torso up off of the props beneath you. Carefully walking the knees in, move slow, bringing right knee in, then left knee, taking tiny steps, keep going, right knee, then left knee, one more time, right knee, and left knee. And then sit the hips back to the heels. And we'll bring the hands into prayer. Take a cleansing breath in. Deep breath out. Namaste.